All right, Rangers, there's no shortage of drama swirling around our beloved club this week, and I've got the juiciest stories lined up for you. From a £6 million bombshell hitting Rangers' finances to a surprising transfer move that could shape the future of our squad, you won't want to miss this. And it doesn't stop there. Wait till you hear why Neil McCann's already sweating over Sunday's clash with Celtic, the latest twist on John Souttar's injury, and the jaw-dropping Didier Drogba comparison being made about one of our very own. Trust me, you'll want to stick around to the end to see what's cooking at Rangers, because there's a lot to unpack and it's bound to spark a few debates. Let's dive in. Right then, let's break this down. Rangers have managed to trim their wage bill by £6 million this season, cutting it down from 41 million to 35 million. On the face of it, that's a positive step for keeping the books tidy, but as usual, there's always a sting in the tail. Turns out, the club's plans for redeveloping Rangers have eaten into those savings quicker than you can say Copland Road stand. And then there's the small matter of missing out on the Champions League cash cow after that disappointing loss to Dynamo Kyiv. To make things worse, Celtic were busy helping themselves to Europe's riches while we were left licking our wounds. Add to that the disruption of playing at Hampton instead of Rangers at the start of the season because of construction delays. Let's be honest, it's not exactly the smoothest start to a campaign, is it? Yet here we are. Philippe Clement's boys are back on track and eyeing Sunday's League Cup final at Hampton to remind everyone who's boss. But here's the kicker. Rangers racked up a jaw-dropping £17 million in losses in their latest accounts. So, while chopping the wage bill is a decent shout, it's just a drop in the ocean when you're up against numbers like that. Progress? Maybe. But you'd have to squint a bit to see it. Now, here's one to chew on. With Celtic cashing in on Champions League football while we're left counting the cost of rebuilding Rangers, is it time for the board to rethink their priorities? Should European success take precedence over redevelopment? Let me know what you reckon. Here we go again, with another name being tossed around for Rangers. This time, Lawrence Shankland. Dan Bardell reckons we'd be daft not to grab him on a free when his Hearts contract wraps up next summer. Fair enough, a freebie Scotland international striker does sound tempting, doesn't it? Especially when our lads have had their moments of being about as sharp in front of goal as a butter knife. Shankland's got pedigree, no doubt. 31 goals in all competitions last season. You'd take that any day of the week. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. He's only managed to bang in 3 goals this season. Is that a blip? Or are we talking about a striker who's lost his spark? Philippe Clement might fancy him as backup or competition for the likes of Danilo and Hamza Igamane, but you've got to wonder where Cyril Desires fits into all this. If Shankland comes in, it could be curtains for the big man who's already struggling to find his feet. That might not be the worst thing, mind you, considering his patchy form. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Signing Shankland on a free might sound like a bargain, but is bringing in a striker who's struggling to hit the net really what Rangers need, or are we just shopping in the bargain bin instead of aiming higher? Let's hear what you've got to say. Right, let's dive into this. Niels Koppen and the Rangers scouting team are apparently eyeing up 23-year-old Keelan Adams from Falkirk as a possible January addition. A right-back who's having a cracking season in the championship. Not bad on paper, especially with John McGlynn's side leading the pack. Add to that, Adams has been making waves with standout performances, even bagging a goal in front of our scouts against Wraith Rovers. Sounds promising, doesn't it? Now, the big talking point here is James Tavernier. Our captain's been a staple for nearly a decade, but at 33, there's talk of him heading off to Saudi Arabia for a reunion with Steven Gerrard. Tav's numbers this season, 3 goals and 6 assists in 25 games, aren't shocking. But let's face it, there have been some questionable performances lately. If Adams is being lined up as his successor, it's a big pair of boots to fill. Here's the rub, though. Leeds United and Swansea City are sniffing around Adams too, and they've got deeper pockets than us. That could make things tricky, especially if they dangle bigger wages or transfer fees Falkirk can't refuse. Plus, let's not forget, Adams was let go by us years ago as a youngster. Wouldn't that be something if he came back now as a potential future star? But here's the real debate for you. If Tav does leave, should Rangers invest in a promising player like Adams for the long term, even if he's a gamble? Or would it be smarter to splash out on an experienced replacement who can hit the ground running? Let's hear your thoughts. Neil McCann's at it again, isn't he? Predicting that Celtic will take the League Cup final at Hampton on Sunday, but saying he hopes he's wrong. Typical BBC fence-sitting, if you ask me. Look, he's not wrong about one thing. Philippe Clement hasn't had the best luck in Old Firm clashes so far. But can you really blame the man? He's still working with the squad he inherited. And let's not forget, Celtic have had their fair share of luck this season. Now, McCann reckons that result against Spurs in the Europa League, probably our best showing so far, should give us the boost we need. He's not wrong there. That performance showed what this team can do when they're organized and up for it. If we can replicate that on Sunday, we've got every chance. But Celtic in irresistible form? Give me a break. They've had a few scrappy results lately. They're hardly invincible. Let's not forget, we're the holders of this trophy. Rangers know what it takes to win at Hampton, and the players should be well up for proving a point. Clement's record against Celtic may not look pretty, but Sunday's the perfect time to rewrite the script. And let's be honest, if Clement can get this win, it'll silence plenty of doubters, McCann included. So, here's the big question for you. If Clement doesn't get the win against Celtic this weekend, do we start questioning whether he's the man to bring consistent success back to Rangers, or should we back him regardless, knowing he's still building his squad? Let's hear it. Here we go. John Souttar might be out for Sunday's final, and you don't need me to tell you how much of a blow that would be. Tam McManus reckons there's no chance Souttar plays, and let's be honest, he's probably right. Groin injuries aren't the sort you can just walk off, are they? One wrong move and it's curtains for weeks, maybe months. No way Clement gambles with that, especially not in a match this big. It's a shame because Souttar's been rock solid lately, and let's not pretend we're drowning in top-quality defensive options. Robin Propper's likely the man to step in, and the lad's got a chance to prove he's not just there to make up the numbers. But let's not sugarcoat it. Losing Souttar could leave us exposed against Celtic's attack. Clement's got to be clever here. Rushing Souttar back would be daft. Imagine the uproar if we lose him long-term because of a desperate call for one game, even if it is the cup final. The bigger picture matters too, doesn't it? A dodgy defense won't do us any favors in the league or Europe. But here's the fiery question for you. If Souttar's absence costs us the match, is it time to question the depth and quality of Rangers' squad? Have we been cutting corners for too long in building a team capable of competing on all fronts? Let me know. Well, that's a compliment that'll turn a few heads. Leon Balogun comparing Hamza Igamane to Didier Drogba. The big man doesn't hand out praise lightly, so you've got to think there's some real substance to this. And to be fair, Igamane's been an absolute revelation lately. That chest control he's got, it's like he's got a magnet under his shirt. Balogun's right. It's a joy to watch, and it's giving us that link-up play we've been crying out for. It's not just the flair, though, is it? The lad's got a bit of that old-school centre-forward about him, a proper presence up top. He's not afraid to put himself about, but he's also got that cheeky edge, loves a nutmeg, apparently. The swagger's good to see. It's confidence without arrogance, and Rangers have missed that kind of personality on the pitch. Let's not get carried away, though. He's not Drogba yet, but the way he's knitting the midfield and attack together has been a game changer. It's helped players like Raskin, Hagi, and Danilo shine as well. Clement's tweaks are clearly working, but having a player like Igamane firing on all cylinders makes all the difference. He's giving us a platform up front, and suddenly the team looks like it's got balance again. But here's one for the debate. Is it too soon to start hyping Igamane with Drogba comparisons, or should we embrace the idea that we might just have our next great centre forward on our hands? Over to you. If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.